What's up? Morning. So, off-topic Friday alert. So yeah, a couple things, just rattling off random thoughts here. Number one, I kind of have to laugh. When I started this channel, I thought I'd be like a little more like pumped up and energetic when I was on camera, but like I'm always like super kind of mellowed out. It's kind of funny to me because I guess I have a history of being a little more outrageous when the spotlight's on me. But one of the things that's happened since I started this program is like I can't really get to that level anymore. You know what I mean? It's for some reason it feels like it's a little ungrounding and like kind of yin, I guess. And so this new demeanor is like a little more calm and a lot more yang. And yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like I legitimately am surprised that I can't like take it to that level. Right? Maybe I'll learn to balance it. I don't know. It's just random interesting thoughts. Number two, got a couple people interested in the channel over the week. So I think you'll start seeing more uploads here soon from other faces than my beautiful one. So I think it's actually pretty cool. Like the people that I'm getting involved, like they seem like they have just awesome, interesting stories to share. And the cool thing is, I think we're starting to get global too, right? You got me in Texas, we got Rachel in Arizona, Charlie in LA, Daniel, and he's in Texas too. I got Anna in the UK, Jules, I think she's in California, to be honest with you. And, oh man, I forget the last name. But I think it starts with a J, please excuse me. I think she's in New Zealand, I think is what she said. So New Zealand, UK, Texas, California. California might as well be its own state. So, that's cool. What else? Yeah, interesting things that are about to happen on a worldly perspective. I don't know if anybody follows Mark Taylor at all, but I guess his claim to fame is in 2011, he had what he calls the Trump prophecy. And he basically said that Donald Trump was going to be elected president. You think about it, it sounds kind of crazy at the time. It was 2011, it was pretty much a surprise to everybody until he got elected, right? Let's be real. So anyway, he lays out like a bunch of things that he expects to happen, and I'll rattle them off real quick. Number one, he talks about the U.S. Federal Reserve dollar that we have going bye-bye, and the U.S. Treasury dollar coming into play. So a Treasury dollar is like a constitutional dollar. That's what the job of the Treasury is. This whole private bank Federal Reserve nonsense is going to go away, and the Treasury dollar is going to be backed by something, whereas this Fed dollar is backed by nothing at all. So that'll be good for currency because that's how it's supposed to work. So that will be happening. Note for all you people out there, this is where if you're into cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin or Litecoin or anything like that, that's where a lot of this comes into play. So meaning when we transition from this old system to the new system, cryptos are going to be the holding ground for all this inflation of wealth. As the US dollar, as we know today, starts losing value, the cryptocurrencies are going to absorb all that value. So it's still really early in that game. So if you don't have any, my advice, go to Coinbase. It's an app on your phone, download it, get a little bit of crypto. If you don't know anything about it, just buy Bitcoin. If you want to get a little more saucy, Bitcoin and Litecoin are good purchases. If you really, really, really want to get into it, reach out to Luke Pryor from Deep Healing Space. He'll tell you all about it. Currency change, right? That was one thing he talks about. He also talks about these military tribunals that are going to happen. And these military tribunals are going to be with the political leaders that we all know and love, right? Such as Obama and Clinton and all them. And there's actually an executive order that was signed. If you pay attention to the detail, you can start seeing this stuff unfold. There's an executive order signed in, I guess it was the summer or something, maybe March. And it talked about how in January of 2019, there's going to be military tribunal access to political ranking figures or something along those lines. So Mark Taylor talked about this a long time ago, and then now here we are sitting here, and the executive order signed. It's about to be enacted. If you paid attention to the Kavanaugh stuff at all during his interviews, he was asked specifically about military and civil courts, right? And then once he knew a lot about military courts, all of a sudden a sexual assault charge was pulled up on him, and there was a big attempt to stop him. So let that sink in a little bit. So what else? So yeah, also Obama's going to be ripped and stripped of his presidential title, which the only way that can happen is treason. So when these military tribunals start, there will be treason unveiled, and Obama will actually lose title as president. So interesting one. Number 3 is on the energy side of the world. So OPEC, for anybody who knows about oil prices, it's kind of like basically it's a monopoly. They control supply and prices, and they can do whatever they want at a wisp of their wand. So that's going to change. OPEC's going to go bye-bye. America's actually going to become an energy dominant. They're going to be energy independent, and other nations that relied on OPEC are actually going to be coming to America to buy our energy. And once we do that, we're going to be a powerhouse. I mean, that's how you create wealth in a nation. Which brings me to the next point, that there's also going to be the national debt is going to be given a death blow. So I think it's about 20 trillion now, and a lot of this energy economy that's coming into play, I think, is going to be a large part of that, right? Also, I think a large part of that, if you really pay attention, again, it was late December, Trump signed the human trafficking executive order, basically declaring that there's a human trafficking global crisis going on right now. And we are actually in a state of emergency. The United States is. People don't realize this. And one of the things it talks about is these people who commit crimes against humanity, their assets are going to be seized. So think about some of the people who run these rings are some of the wealthiest people in the world. They have some of the largest, most wealthiest assets that are out there. So when they start getting prosecuted and their assets get seized, it's going to go into this national debt as well. So I think that's going to help knock it out. What else did he say? I'm trying to do this off the top of my head. Some interesting ones are supposedly there's also the Vatican and the Pope. There's a lot of corruption in that organization. It's going to get exposed. There's a archaeological dig that's supposed to happen somewhere between Rome and Jerusalem, and it's supposed to rock the Christian world. So I have a feeling like some suppressed truth about Christianity will come out. That's exciting. And what else is happening with the whole Mark? Oh, yeah, things to look for as well. I talked about the energy one already, but gas will be less than $1. That's just another little note. And yeah, so I have a list somewhere. It's like 15 things. Keeping track of it. So, but yeah, I think that's cool stuff. If anybody pays attention to QAnon, last night he posted that the fun begins. If you know what QAnon is, or if you don't know what QAnon is, basically, really fast, there's these anonymous posting boards where this guy named Q started posting all this stuff, and it seemed like he had insider information about what was going on kind of in the United States and the intelligence agencies, and it seemed like he was kind of in the back pocket of Trump, and there's a lot of things he's been saying that basically have been coming true, and it's like kind of insane, right? It's been going on for about a year now. It started, I think, October 2017, so yeah, about a year now. And last night he finally said something along the lines of like, get ready, you know, the show begins, the arrests begin, and all this stuff. So all the stuff that kind of Mark Taylor was talking about, you know, in 2015, Q's talking about today, and then if you look at all the groundwork, it's all set up for this stuff to happen as well. So, I mean, you tell me. I mean, I guess we're all still waiting and seeing, right? But it looks like everything's lining up, and it's going to be exciting times, but it's also going to be probably scary times for a lot of people. So, you know, the reason that this video is important is because it's important to realize, you know, God is in control. This is divine intervention, and you know, don't be feared, just have faith. Everything's going to work out, and when it's all said and done, everything's going to be awesome and better than it was before, because we were basically enslaved under these people at the moment. We won't be enslaved. We'll have freedom. We'll be sovereign individuals, right? The United States is set up in a way where the citizens are kings and queens, and the state works for us on a limited basis. Wow, limited, right? Nowadays, think about starting a restaurant or building a road or whatever it may be, the amount of regulations and laws and loopholes and red tapes and certificates and dollars and all this crazy madness that you have to do just to do anything, I think it's going away. It's going to go away, and we're going to have true freedom. We're going to have true capitalism, and it's going to be awesome. So really get excited. But remember, during these trials and tribulations that are about to pop up, just stay calm, stay focused. Remember the kingdom of heaven is within, so just stay within and work on that, and everything will take care of itself. Don't be ignorant, though. At least pay attention a little bit to what's going on so that you can be prepared for yourself and your family and your loved ones. And yeah, other than that, that's all I got. Thanks, guys.